Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Piofiore, and we are continuing our finale route, which is sort of our Direttore, Henry route, whatever, finale. We're still in Chapter 5. We're at the end, I would assume, because we have, one choice left. But, yeah, I don't know, we'll see. We'll obviously get into Chapter 6 today, but we're just picking up where we left off. It had been 3 days since I visited the Falzone Manor. We gathered once again at the church. This is unusual. Yang called the meeting? What the hell happened? Yang tossed something over to me. It's a head! What's this? It was a picture frame. Inside was the picture of a small blonde girl. They stole it off his desk. The photo looked old. It was a picture of a blonde girl. Is this... I didn't care for the Direttore's attitude in our last meeting. So when I heard he had something interesting on his desk, I went to look at it. Everyone froze, hearing his words. We can leave it up to Yang. They need to improve their security. None of them even noticed me. Oh, not one of them noticed me anyway. You infiltrated the casino by yourself? You're the head of your organization, Yang. It's funny, nobody noticed me. You clearly don't look Italian. Okay, I'm just saying, because you're a member of the Chinese mafia. You're going to stand out a little bit in a bunch of a sea of Italians. I guess maybe they thought you were a tourist or something, but you just waltzed right fucking in there into his office and stole this picture. I know he did some sneaking and shit, but that's just amazing. It doesn't make sense to infiltrate as a group. Also, I'm the most skilled of the Lao Shu. The greater the challenge, the easier it is for me to clear it. And I had fun. I love our trash husband, I really do. Unbelievable. What the hell were you gonna do if they found you? They didn't. What's the problem? I just love the fact, first of all, the looks on their faces and the dead silence, they're like, nothing we say is gonna get through to him. They could have cut, but they didn't. But they could have, but they didn't. Fucking Yang. So I love this game. Never mind that. Look at the backing. There's an extra layer. I broke the latch. Take a look. Okay. It's gonna be Baby Henry. I listened to what he said. There was something behind the extra backing. I found one more picture hidden behind the picture of the girl. This is... A blonde woman was smiling happily. It looks like the same person, or at least they look similar. I showed the two pictures to everyone. They all tilted their heads. It didn't seem that they knew who she was. But then, Nicola noticed something. Dante, this is your office. We take a careful look at the two pictures again. The older picture was taken somewhere we didn't recognize. But the newer picture was taken where Nicola mentioned. But the thing is she wasn't killed that long ago, and we've been the key maiden, whatever. So it's really weird. Were we chosen as the key maiden while she was still alive? Because, didn't they say, when did Marco say? I forget, Marco said something, and everyone else no idea, right? It would have happened when, say, Dante and Nicola were kids, probably, and Dante's father was in charge. But, Dante wouldn't have remembered this girl. You know what I mean? If he was a kid when she was around, he wouldn't have noticed. Because, obviously, the Key Maiden originally lived with them. That we know. Because Sister Sophia told us. So, if this is supposed to be her, she would be maybe a few years older. But, you know what I mean? It can't be his, I'm just going on the, if it's supposed to be, his sister, right? If it's supposed to be his sister, because he's blonde, makes sense. He's not that much older than them. They would have remembered her. Dante, because Dante's father didn't die until he was older, right? More recently. So you don't think that, he would have looked and been oh, hey, I remember that chick. She used to live... He would have had to have been very little. And he might not have remembered her. But then she would have been way older. Then Henry, that doesn't make sense. So I'm just really curious. Because I feel like they're leading us down the, like, oh, it's going to be like his sister. But it's like, especially because he's got a picture of her as a little girl. You wouldn't have a picture of your mom as a child. Like, if you were remembering your mother, you would have that picture of the woman, not of a little girl. You know what I mean? That makes it seem almost more like it's his sister, but is he 40? Because it doesn't make any sense that she'd be his sister and nobody would remember her at all. Like, he's not that much older than them. So it's going to be very fucking weird. And like, yeah, she died, but even if it was like 10, 15 years ago, you really, Dante, you're not going to remember that? Like, I mean, yes, okay. But if she died like 10 years ago, she wasn't a child, she was a woman. They didn't say like, oh, it was a child that died. It was a young woman. So even if she was only like 15, like Dante would have probably been like 10. You don't think he would have remembered at 10 years old, this woman that was always living in that? I'm just saying, it doesn't seem to fit well. And maybe I'm overanalyzing and it's not going to be a sister or something, but I'm just saying it just seems weird. If she lived in the manor, he'd have recognized her unless he was really little and she was older. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, I don't know. Anyway. But the newer picture was taken where Nicola mentioned. It's the Falzone family's office. So that means she's somehow related to the Falzone family? But considering how old the photo is, it must have been taken before I began using the office. Which means it was likely from back when Silvio Falzone was alive. Okay, that was his dad, yeah. And then Direttore did make a mention about personal reasons. So she may be involved with whatever reason the Direttore has? That's the thing. So it was used back when my father used the office, which was only like, what, 10 years ago max? But again, Dante was old enough to have remembered when she lived there then. It doesn't... I mean, unless they're going to say she died... But it just... The pieces to me aren't fitting with the it's his sister. But then how would he know it was his sister? Why would they have taken both of them? You know what I mean? Unless the voice wasn't supposed to be like... Unless she was a lot older than him. But again, why would he have a picture of her as a child? You know what I mean? That's like weird. Like if something happened to I don't have pictures of my dad around my house from when he was like a kid. You have pictures from when you know that person. So like, it wouldn't be his mom because he wouldn't have pictures of her as a child. But even if it was his sister, okay, maybe he's remembering her as a child because he doesn't want to remember what happened when she got older. But he can't be that much younger than her. He wouldn't have remembered her that young. Unless she's a younger sibling, maybe? You know, I mean, I guess. I don't know. We're going to have to find out. But I just have a feeling if that's the route they're going, like, it's a sister! I'm just curious how they're going to put the pieces together that's going to make me believe that nobody fucking remembers her. You know what I mean? Like, she lived in the manor and, like, Julia was like, oh, I was always with the missus, so I don't remember her. You know? Well, she didn't remember the other kids. She's like, I barely remember anything. Okay. But then I don't know. I mean, I guess because Dante's mother died when he was so young, then Julia kind of took over the rest of the household stuff. So then that key maiden must have been maybe after Dante's mother died. It was like, all right, we got to get her out because it's dangerous for her to be here. Or maybe then she left then and then. I don't know. They're gonna, but I just don't have a good feeling with how they're going to explain it. That's going to be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I just have this weird feeling that I'm going to be like, yeah, and none of that makes any fucking sense. And that there's no logic and the pieces don't fit. Like, show me the timeline and I'm going to be like, but there's a huge that doesn't make sense. Like, you know, it's like a pet peeve. I don't know. Like, if you're going to do this, make it make sense instead of being like, but Dante would have been like 15 then and he wouldn't have remembered this woman and you're going to try to tell me that she was like totally hidden where you never saw her at all? Come on. Like, you know, it's going to be weird. Or like, oh, so she died when she was 15, but that was 20 years ago, but then she's Direttore's twin sister, but he's not 45 years old. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the math isn't going to work. I don't know. Like, I'm already getting into I don't know, but anyway. So she may be involved with whatever reason the Direttore has. Okay, we know, I mean, we knew that. I kind of assumed maybe it was his mom or something. You know, when, like, Sylvia was trying to unlock the key, and, like, it was a secret brother that he didn't know he had. That would have been amazing. That would have been great. Dante's your brother? You didn't know this? That would have been fucking great. It would have been great. All I'm saying. But if that were the case, I would assume he would target the Falzone, not the Visconti. But the Visconti were part of the Falzone for a while. But probably separated before whoever she was there. It's maybe one hell of a stage that was set up to involve Berlone as a whole. Hearing Gil's words jogged my mind. All who made you who you are will help you. When I heard him say that to me, I thought the Falzone family was somehow involved. If the Direttore's objective is to seek revenge, what's happening now may have been set up a long time ago. Indeed. Their tracks have been well covered. To do that, they'd need to be prepared. No one refuted the idea. Nicola gave a deep sigh, breaking the silence. I'll ask the older members of our family and see if we can find a trail. Maybe there's someone old enough who knows who she is. Oh, can I come with you? If this was a matter involving the Falzone, I may be related in some way too. More than anything, that boy said that I was the closest to the truth. You're the closest to the truth because she was a key maiden. I'm gonna bet anything, because, like, the prior key maiden, nobody knows what happened to, or she's not with us, so Sophia doesn't either know or didn't want to tell us. Marco made the comment about a young girl being killed or whatever. That was obviously her. You know what I mean? So we don't know how all the pieces fit, but those are pieces. I feel, you know what I mean? Like, she was the girl that died. She lived with the Falzone, so we're the closest to the truth, because we're the key maiden. That's the only thing I can get from it. That might not be it, but that's my assumption at the moment, you know? That's my hypothesis at the second. Well, that's fine. In any case, you have the right to know the Falzone family's history. Thank you, Dante. Nicola's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Everyone began to disperse as the meeting drew to a close. Dante left with a promise to send someone over to pick me up. The next day, I was at the Falzone family's manor again. Dante and Nicola were planning on speaking with Julia first. Apparently, she was the housemaid who had worked here the longest. Julia was staring at the picture of the girl. Then she sighed and began to speak. I see why you don't remember her. She was here back when both of you were very little. Okay, see? You know her, Julia? Yes. I was working as a handmaid back then, for your mother, Signora Beatrice. Aw, his mother's name is Beatrice. So cute. It's like an old lady name. After I was assigned to your mother, a girl by the name of Chloe arrived here. Chloe? Yes, I believe it was Chloe Lambert. He's Henry Lambert, isn't he? That's gotta be his sister or his mom, somehow. Signor Silvio, the previous boss, treated her as if she were his own daughter. I believe she was 15 or 16 years old then. Okay. So, okay, alright. It cannot be his... Well, it could be his older sister. He could be like 5 and she could have been like 10 years older than him. I mean, it's possible. At least I know she had not yet turned 20 when you were born, young Dante. Okay, so, alright. Yeah. She wasn't 20... Okay, it's gotta be his mom. There's no fucking way it's his sister. You know what I mean? Because, like, he'd be way older than Dante. Like, Dante's at least in his early to mid-20s, right? Let's just say... I don't even know. I don't know. Did they tell us? But let's just say he's 20. Because they're always like, head of the bank of the CEO, and I've been like, head of this bank of the CEO. I'm like, all this... I'm that magical power, and I'm like, 20. And it's like, how the... Look... You are setting some unrealistic expectations for people, is all I'm saying. Because, like, ain't nobody that there are moderately few people that are that fucking successful at 20. The rest of us are over here like, I'll die and never achieve anything. But in games, everybody is like, I'm like 18 and like, I run the world. How the fuck did you Most of us are lucky that we can function as adults at that age. Give me a fucking break, games. They're always, like, way younger. Everybody in this, you know, you're like, okay, like, we might be, like, early to mid 20s. They're all like late 20s to 30s, right? Because that's like, I could believe that. But like Dante's like, no, I'm like 16. What the fuck? It's always like that in games. So let's just pretend. She wasn't 20 when you were born. She would have to be like 40 now. Let's just say if you're 20. She's pushing 40. There's no fucking way it's Dia de Torde's fucking sibling, because then like, even if he was 10 years young, I mean, you're trying to tell me that me as like an 18 to 20-year-old girl is going to date a 30-year-old? I mean, I guess, okay, weirder things have happened in games. So maybe he could be that old. He doesn't seem that much older than the rest of them, but I don't know. I just feel like it'd be someone. It's his mother. There's so much more power to that than like, oh, it's his sister. Like, okay, whatever. But just, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but like, no offense to my siblings, but somebody like the mafia killed them, I'd be like, that sucks and I want justice. But like, maybe if you killed my mom, I'd be a little bit more fucking gung-ho about gunning your asses down. I don't know. Like, it's your mom. Like, I want my siblings to be pissed off if someone like murders my ass. But like, you're not gonna go out and seek vengeance. Okay. Even in a fantasy world, in the real world, no one's gonna do that shit. You know what I mean? You're gonna want justice either way. But like, it just seems so weird. You're like, do siblings really love each other that much? Like, I love my family, but like, I am not gonna go ballistic to kill someone because, like, sorry, like maybe your parents, but like, just, I don't know. But then again, you have Dante and Nicola who are only cousins and are like, go fucking mentally insane when the other one dies. So I don't know. Italy, I guess. It's Italian families. I don't know. Anyway. Okay. So this Chloe, who was she? Why did she come to the Falzone family? Come on, Orlock, do the math. I only heard she lost her parents, which is why she was here with us here. For a short while, she was living here with her younger brother. See, that's bullshit. It's her little brother! So it's supposed to be... Yeah, see, I don't know. You know what it is? I think what bothers me is that doesn't feel powerful enough to me. Like, if it was his mother, you'd be like, oh! But it's like, it's his sister! Oh. Okay, sure. Siblings love each other so much. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's a nice thing that you're putting in these games, that siblings love each other so fucking much they literally go mentally insane when the other one dies or some shit. But, like, it just doesn't feel as... Like... The twist when it comes out like this, it's a sister. Okay. Like, alright. Cool, I guess. But if you were like, it was his mother. Oh my god, the intrigue! Because then you're like, oh my god, Dante, you're his fucking half-brother. Like, that could have been so much better. You could have done so much more and it would have just been so much more. I want that fucked up kind of shit. I want those fucking twists and turns. Not like this, like, oh, he was really mad because his older sister died. Oh. I mean, sure, okay, great. But I think because I just had my expectations set so high that when this comes out, you're like, oh, I'm a little disappointed. It is okay, fine, whatever. I don't know. You know? I mean, I don't know why it disappoints me, but it does. I just don't feel it as... I don't know. It's me. It's literally me, but I just don't feel as... Anyway. Okay, whatever, it's a sister, blah, blah, blah. It's just a letdown for me. That's what it feels like. I feel like, oh, okay, it's his sister. Great, so fine. So he went psycho and he wants to kill the mafia because the mafia killed his sister? Like, yeah, I don't know. You know? Anyway, just disappointed is all. Chloe had a younger brother? Julia nodded, then looked at Nicola. Oh. Little Nicola. Don't you remember? You met him before. Julie's voice is broken now. I don't know what's happening here. Come to think of it, I do recall meeting a boy a bit older than me when I came to visit. You were only 5 years old then. The other boy was about 10. So, like... Yeah, so if, like, Nicola's, like, mid-20s, then he's, like, 30, is what you're trying to tell me. I mean, okay, I guess that works, because, I mean, we always have games where, like, I'm, like, 16, and this guy's, like, 52, and we're gonna get married, and it's like, that's gross. Sorry, but it's fucking gross. There's a seriously fucking problem with somebody who's that old dating someone who is barely legal and easily manipulated. I mean, great, this is the 1920s, so, like, shit like that kind of happened, but, like... And when you're, like, back in ye olde days and we live in medieval times, it's like, okay, yeah, you were probably, like...
13 getting married and your husband was like 30 and it was gross, but that's the way shit was. Doesn't make it not gross, but it's always, I always just assume we're all closer in age, so, whatever. I mean, again, we're 18 to 20, so he's only like 10 to 12 years older than us. It's not that big of a deal, but it just, I don't know, I guess I just didn't think he was that much older. Anyway. I just feel like the story would have been better if it was his mom. It would have just been so much more intense. You would have been like, oh, drama. And this, you're like, oh, okay. I let myself down by getting my hopes up for like something is twisted, right? And then it's like, oh, is this sister? Okay, sure. Like, it's my own fault. So my own expectations crush myself. Such is my life. Anyway.
But he rarely spoke. I suppose he didn't feel comfortable living with the mafia. Julia, do you remember his name? Name? Now what was it? He always hid behind his rambunctious sister. Oh, that's right.
Wrighton? Whatever.
I believe that was his name.
But then he calls himself Henry. Interesting. Wrighton, whatever.
That's about all I remember.
Chloe and Wrighton. Wrighton? We'll go with Wrighton. Sounds better than written. It's like written words. Wrighton is... We're doing it, Wrighton!
I hadn't heard much about either of them from Signor Silvio. After all, I wasn't that housemaid then. I simply served your mother only.
Julia...
Oh, the pot! It's going to boil over. And now, I need to get back to work. Please, if you'll excuse me.
Yeah, because, I mean, we knew that he lived there because she was like, there was a kid who didn't like hot milk, but she chased us out of the kitchen, so we went to Dante's office to review what we knew.
Chloe's younger brother, Wrighton, would have been past 30 if he's alive now.
We looked at each other with the same thought in mind. Okay, so we're probably like at least 20 then, you know.
The direttore. His face is hidden, but I believe he's in his 30s.
Well, we don't have any evidence.
Well, we can at least investigate a bit more on this Wrighton person. Wrighton? What did I say? We're going to say Wrighton. We're going to say Wrighton. Okay. I don't know. If we can connect him to the direttore, then...
I hesitantly spoke what was on my mind. The direttore implied that he had some kind of grudge against the mafia, didn't he? But this Wrighton. I can never remember what I'm going to call him because I can't figure it out. Anyway, child was under the Falzone family's care. And we don't know what happened back then. Maybe there was something worth holding a grudge over, or maybe this has nothing to do with the problem at hand. Dante, please let me help with the investigation and be like, we should figure out what happened to Chloe. Maybe that's why he's pissed. Just saying. The direttore seems to have an interest in me, too. Maybe there's something only I can find out.
Oh, we can't deny that possibility. In fact, I think you're right.
I think I should go run to him and be like, you hate the mafia and I need your protection from them. I can do it. Plus, I mean, it's the Phantom of the Casino. He's kind of hot, not gonna lie.
And the Key Maiden is special, even if that person isn't aware of their status.
What do you say, Dante? Nicola's like, I say we sacrifice her. Nicola's all for this. Just to keep me away from Dante. He's acting so nice right now, but you know deep down he's like, good, send her away. Everybody's shady. Dante was frowning, but after a moment of thinking, he let out a deep sigh. Just don't make any movements on your own. If there's a place you wish to go, one of us must accompany you. That's the condition. After all, most of everyone in town already knows you're close to Gilbert. Walking around out there by yourself is only inviting trouble. I understand. I won't go out alone. I promise I'll be with someone when I go out. Oh, when you smile at me like that, my precious. Seeing me nod wholeheartedly, Dante finally relaxed and gave a gentle smile. We had better share our information with Gilbert and Yang. Dante picked up the phone. Orlok and I leave the room so that we didn't get in the way of his call. And like that, we were returned to the church in the Falzone's car. Goddamn thing. Anyway. Others. Someone called to me as I cleaned the area.
Oh, are we Elena? Because I don't think he would have called us sister. Okay, so. Buongiorno, signorina. Yes, buongiorno to you as well. I don't know him, do I? It wasn't unusual to be greeted by someone you didn't know at the church. And the man had a gentle smile on his face and began talking in a casual manner. My precious Henry. It's beautiful. I love him. You're always working here every day. Are you a sister too? No, I'm just here to help them all with their work. It's to show my gratitude to the church for raising me when I was younger. I see. And come to think of it, and there's another here who doesn't look like a sister either. I believe she had blonde hair. Oh, you mean Space? Why, yes. I haven't seen her in a while, but I've noticed she came back recently. Oh, yes, well, she has many things to do. I tried to give a vague response. I hope the church is doing fine, and the town has been a bit strange recently. Why, yes, this is God's home, so all is well. And the Barlone Mafia also offers support, no? They do. Aren't you scared of the Mafia? I suppose so, but they're protecting the church for us. And they often donate to the church as well, so I'm more thankful than scared. Well, and don't let your guard down. The Mafia are criminals through and through. And then he says these scary things, but he looks so docile and beautiful. Yes, I suppose. You're still young and have a lot ahead of you. And don't get too close to them, unless they drag you into something dangerous. Kind of like you're gonna do? I'm just saying. I can't really blame him. We really get him. Just smack my microphone, I'm sorry. Like, we get involved with the Mafia, so like, I mean, we dated Yang. Henry's nothing compared. I say that, and the game is going to make me regret that. Anyway. Thank you for your care, senor. You're a kind gentleman. I smiled at his concern for my well-being. Oh, are you Space's friend? She should be back shortly. Would you like to wait inside? I know I don't have much time today. Maybe next time. A car stopped in front of the church. Oh, she's back. And like that, we returned to the church in the Falzone's car. It would have been easier if you read that, you know what I mean? But oh, welcome home, you two! Elena greeted us with a smile. It looked like she was cleaning the area. Next to her was Henry? I held my breath in surprise. Elena tilted her head and looked at me curiously. Oh, I forgot. Orlok, can you help me for a bit? With a bright smile on her face, she began tugging Orlok away. It isn't a huge problem, but I need you at the refectory. Hurry! Okay. I love this. Elena's like, there's a handsome man coming here to see Space, and it's like, God damn, my fucking thing doesn't want to. I'm just. Ugh. Stupid fucking action. It's pissing me off. Like, my mouse doesn't want to fucking work. Like, when it's over action, like, action doesn't, like, stops my mouse from working. Which is really fucking weird. Probably because my computer is dumb and can't handle having 3 things plugged into USB ports, but like. Anyway, I just wanted to see where we were in time, but anyway. I rambled a lot, so I was like, did I get like, wait, 3 hours in? Anyway. Orlok was worried about me being alone with Henry, but he was dragged away by Elena. Before Elena and Orlok turned the corner, she looked my way and gave a childish smile. Elena, you... I blushed, knowing why Elena took him away. You have a nice friend there. Henry gave a warm smile. I was glad there were no hard feelings since we last met. Look how beautiful he is. He's so gonna stab us. Like, he has such a beautiful, sweet face, and you're like, you're gonna be the death of me. Like, I expected that from Yang. Like, I knew what I was getting into there, but you... I also knew what I was getting into with Nicola. Like, Nicola's shady. I know he's shady. I knew it. He knew it from the fucking... It was because of the voice actor. You... Look, I only know... I love you so much, and you're gonna be that one that really throws me for a loop, aren't ya? Anyway. It looks like you stepped out for a bit. I wasn't sure what to say, but at the very least, I knew I shouldn't lie to him. I went to the Falzone's residence. Oh, the angry look. He's so hot when he's angry. Glare at me harder, Henry, Jesus. I see. Oh, well, I should get going. Oh, wait, Henry! I called his name out, wanting to talk with him a bit longer. Henry stared at me with a blank look, seeming unhappy to be stopped. Is there something you need? I responded, not really, but I was hesitant. Could you spare a moment? I was hoping to chat with you. I suppose so. We can talk, but I need to leave when we're done. Actually, I was hoping I could get to know you better. Do you mind telling me more about yourself? Henry sighed a bit, then looked straight at me. It's funny that she hasn't, clued in. She's like, blonde hair, roughly the age of, Could he be lying about his name? I'm just saying. Because we know the Dia de Torre, we're thinking, could the Dia de Torre be Wrighton? Right? We're like, Deton, whatever his name is. Okay, however the fuck you say it. You're like, could be him? But he said his name was Sebastiano. You already know that he's lying about shit. So, I just like that she's totally, bamboozled by precious, beautiful Henry. And every single time she mentions the Mafia, he gets like, turns and walks away. She's like, wait! And he's like, huh? He's a little crazy. You're like, blonde hair, kind of looks like the girl in the picture, roughly the same age. Possibly! I guess you're not thinking of it, but it's still kind of funny that, anyway. Henry sighed a bit, then looked straight at me. Please don't leave me, I love you. Unfortunately, I don't have anything interesting to say about myself. I'm sure that's not true. I mean, I had a lovely time chatting with you when we took a stroll together. He looked shocked. I love you. I do, I love him so much. He's so beautiful. Henry looked surprised. I didn't think I said anything strange, but for some reason my face began to prickle. Henry, if you don't mind, would you go on a stroll with me again? Well, not that now's the right time to be going outside. Well, perhaps next time. Yes, thank you. I smiled, hearing Henry respond affirmatively to my invitation. I like the fact that she's kind of like, I like this strange, beautiful man that shows up and I didn't know his name the first time we went for a walk. We went for a walk and we chatted and I was kind of falling for him and I had no idea what his name was. He looked sad. He then closed his eyes and shook his head, walking away. Take care, Henry. You too. And with that, I watched Henry leave until I could see him no more. The thing that depresses me, though, about this is the fact that there's others in the guide, thing, but there's only 11. He only gets 11 CGs that we're going to get. Probably not until we get into his route. We're going to get a lot, though, in that small little bit, but you too. I suppose he's still worried about me. Mixed feelings of guilt and joy rose within my heart. I'm just glad I was able to see him. Having the chance to speak with him like this again was nice. I'd better thank Elena. I headed to the refectory to express my thanks to Elena, and I never made it there because he kidnapped me. Henry put me in a cage. I don't even give a shit. Sweetie, you could have asked. I'd have crawled in there willingly. Circare? I don't know, I'm just making shit up now. I really have no idea how to pronounce that. I don't even know what language it is, so. The following morning, after waking, I looked outside the window and up at the sky. I tried to recall all that happened so far to get a better grasp of the situation. I was suddenly attacked by Yang in my room. Then the Falzone appeared and began a gunfight in the church. I escaped with Orlok's help and met Gil. Then I was invited to the Visconti Manor, where I was treated as a guest. But soon, the people in the town started to speak ill of the Mafia. The article about the government taking action against the Mafia made matters worse. We soon found out that the casino was involved with the counterfeiting. It was around then that I met Emilio. He mentioned to me that I was close to the truth, and that everyone who made me who I am would help. Chloe and her younger brother... What did I say I was going to call him? Wrighton? Wrighton. Lived in the Falzone Manor. I feel that whatever happened to the foul zone back then is the key to our situation now. I asked Dante and the others to let me help them, but I couldn't roam Berlone now, given how things were. I suppose that just means I need to step outside only when it's needed. Wasn't there anything else I could do? Dante comes here every week, so I can see him again on Wednesday. I'd better get back to my duties. I need to do what I can. Wow! Look at what you've done, Space! The place is shiny all over! Elena lets out a surprised voice at the sight of the kitchen. I was at the Visconti Manor for a while, wasn't I? I just wanted to pay you and everyone else back for taking care of things in my absence. That sounds like you, but don't push yourself. Thanks, Elena. You're always so sweet. You think? Well, I'm just that way because of you. I hate to see my best friend collapse from exhaustion. Elena really was a sweet girl. Say, Elena, how about we have an afternoon tea break today? Oh my god, Elena and Leo. I can make something once I'm done here. And that must mean you're going to bake some sweets. I can't wait. I'm sure the kids will be happy too. Not for them. Just kidding. We spent time having a nice afternoon snack together with everyone at the church. I feel like I haven't smiled like this in a long time now. Recently, there have been many people coming to church to pray. There were even fewer people today. It wasn't unusual to see people visiting later in the evening, but with what's going on in Berlone, there was hardly anyone walking outside. I guess I can close the doors to the church now. Are this Lon and Faye? Una Sera. There's two people. Huh? The sound of children speaking in a cute accent resounded through the church. Isn't it? It is. Because it was two of them. If it was just one person. So. Una Sera. I'm trying to put both of their voices. She'd be like, Boo! Una Sera! Switching back and forth like I can't do it. Or they're saying it at the same time, but you knew when it was like that and it had question mark and question mark. I'm like, it's got to be Lana and Faye. They'd be the only people who would, like, not be able to say it. Like, they're like, we're learning Italian! Fucking adorable. Lon? Faye? You two have never come here before. What brings you here today? Unusual, right? But it's not just us today. What? From behind them appeared the Lao Shu's leader, Yang. This is all too sudden. Is there a meeting tonight? Did you come here to pray? Did you come here to pray? Like, I was like, pray? Well, you came to church to offer your prayers, no? Do you think I'd pray? Pray on me, maybe, but that's not the same kind of pray. We're using the word differently, Yang. I recall all he'd said and done until now. I shook my head. You'd have to be an idiot to think I'd do that. Yang sighed in disbelief, but it was oddly reassuring to hear him say that. It would have been an even bigger shock if he said he believed in God. Warlock had been cleaning inside, but he silently appeared next to me. Seeing Yang and the others here, he gave a frown. Hey, no need to look at us like that. It's not like we're gonna do anything. He's got that look on his face that says otherwise. Instead of saying anything to Faye, he looked at me. Should I get rid of them? No, it's fine. I don't know what's happening, but they did come all the way out here. You churchgoers are too accepting. But that's what the church is all about. I responded to Yang's ridicule. If you were bothering the parishioners, I might have asked you to leave, but there's no one here right now. Poor thing! This place is like a ghost town! More like people coming to see ghosts, right? What do you mean? There was something out in the graveyard. At this hour? Do you know who it is? He's pretty good-looking. He kind of stood out. It's Henry. Oh, and he's about as tall as Yang. His hair's shorter than Yang's. He didn't have any weapons, so I don't think he's mafia. Yep. Just like some normal guy. A normal, sad-looking guy. Well, it is a graveyard, you know. Could it be... Written? I don't know. Look, I can't remember. A certain figure crossed my mind. Oh. Interesting. We have to save here for our second save, so let's scroll down. Boop. So, ooh. That's gonna be one of our bad endings. I'll go see who it is. He's gonna kill us, isn't he? We're gonna end up fucking dead. Alright. You know him. You're not gonna go after him? I'm sure it's too late. They saw him when they first arrived, and we'd all been talking here for a while now. If it is who I think it is, I'm sure he wouldn't stay out there for long. After all, this town is too dangerous to be out at night with all that's happening. Yang spoke to me, not paying any mind to what the twins were saying in the background. That's really terrifying. Like, it's probably too late, or like, I'll go see who it is. Oh my god, and we're gonna walk out to see Henry, and he's gonna fucking kill us. Oh, son of a bitch. I mean, you know, Yang killed us, so, I mean, Who's the leader of this church? You mean Sister Sophia? And bring her here. But why would he want her here? I felt uneasy bringing her out here when Yang's motives weren't clear. I couldn't ignore the fact that Yang was still a very dangerous person. But...
Is there something you need from me?
Oh my god, wait a minute. Sister Sophia is actually a... Look, she's got blonde eyebrows, and she's got those purpley color eyes. Then again, okay, so... Leo has blonde hair and, like, sort of the purple... And they're not as purple. I think they've got, like, a slightly different color. But, like... And all of our background characters kind of have the same hair color eyes. You got Oliver, Sister Sophia, Leo, and fucking Henry could all kind of be related. And it wouldn't surprise me, because it's not even like, oh, well, at least Yang's got, like, red hair, gold... He's this hair, like... Everybody's slightly different, but everybody else in the background is like kind of purplish kind of eyes and like blonde hair. What are our eyes? Do we have purpley color? I don't remember. I can't remember from the CGs. But I'm just saying everybody kind of looks fucking alike. And you're like, Sister Sophia? No, she, like, Chloe died, but Sister Sophia, oh my god, are you their mom? Nuns aren't supposed to have children, Sister Sophia. Did you become a nun after the fact? I mean, that would, that's totally a thing too.
I'm their older sister.
I'm just kidding. Sister Sophia? I wasn't sure if it was good or bad timing. Sister Sophia appeared in the church. I just kind of feel like the eye color thing is just like, these are background characters, so they're all kind of similar. Because it's like, you know what I mean? Like all the Visconti dudes are all stock dudes with no eyeballs, and they all kind of look the same, you know what I mean? So it's like the background characters that are, except for Elena, are like, well, they're all kind of blondish with the same-ish, similar kind of eye color, because, like, who cares? But it's just weird. It's just odd, is all I'm saying. Anyway. Faye, Lon, go play outside.
Okay, we'll check the place out.
They nodded, then ran out of the church. Orlok? Do you mind keeping an eye on those two? Orlok looked at the other two with a frown. Yang was staring eerily at Sister Sophia, but it didn't seem like he had any intention of becoming aggressive. It'll be fine. I think Yang knows it isn't a good idea to do anything to the church now. I feel like we said that Yang knows it's a bad idea. And if I did, I would have done it before any of you could react. He wouldn't see me in front of you at all if that were the case. He's like, true. Understood. Call me if you need anything. He looked a bit worried, but he accepted and headed out to chase after the twins. With them gone, Sister Sophia began to speak.
I saw you here at one of the meetings. You are the Laoshu's leader, I presume.
Indeed.
What brings you here today?
And just came to confirm. Sister, what do you know? What do you mean? Sister Sophia's... Silence! I didn't come here to waste time. And this church has been close to the Fell Zone for generations. And the truth is, their origins are one and the same. And the two have been working together since the establishment of this town. Which means that the church has been connected with the Fell Zone for more than a century. recalled Sister Sophia saying something about it a while back. I was just surprised by how much Yang knew about the church and the Falzone situation. I mean, nobody saw him breaking into the fucking... because he waltzed right in and stole that shit off the Direttore's desk. Apparently nobody sees him coming, and he's just like, I've just been standing here hearing all the secrets, and nobody knows I'm here! It's like fucking smoke.
I heard that the church shared information with you about the Falzone family's mission and the Key Maiden. If so, I suppose I can elaborate a bit. Mind you, there is only so much I know.
With that, she began to speak quietly.
Long ago, the Falzone's ancestors were chased from Rome and fled to this land. The people who shared their beliefs followed and created what's known as Burlone. Soon after, the people sought a place of worship which led to this church. Those who moved here were very pious, devout believers of God. Similarly, they held great respect for the Falzone family.
I assume it's because they possess the relic. Still find it hard to believe it exists.
You may be right, Senor. Perhaps only those who have experienced miracles can believe its existence.
And you've experienced miracles, have you? Fine, go on. What's really important is why this church is protecting this woman. That came out of nowhere. Yang didn't even glance at me as he spoke. You're connected with the Falzone family, so you knew she was the Key Maiden, yes?
Yes, I knew. And the reason the church took responsibility of the Key Maiden is...
Sister Sophia hesitated a bit, then continued to speak with resolve.
I want you to listen carefully, Space. After all, you've not heard this before.
Sophia...
The previous Key Maiden was attacked after it became known she was important to the Falzone. Her parents were killed at that time, so she and her younger brother were placed under the Falzone family's custody.
We kind of already knew that the girl that was killed, that was under their care, was, and then we found out Chloe and Henry were siblings, so we already know this, but okay. This is just telling you what you kind of were supposed to suspect, but kind of already knew by putting pieces together. I gasped hearing her words. Wait, Sister Sophia! I mean, couldn't we have not put those we act like we're shocked, but Sister Sophia already told us the prior Key Maiden was in the Falzone's care and she's no longer with us. I get that maybe we're not remembering what Marco said about a girl dying, but when we were all just, wait a minute, there was a girl named Chloe who was living here with her younger brother? We should have been like, wait, Sister Sophia told me a Key Maiden was living here. Do you think she was the Key Maiden at that time? We should have been able to figure that out instead of being like, oh, what? We were given these pieces, but this is what sometimes drives me crazy. You're given these pieces and you act like you don't know these things. It's like it's like the writers forget that they told you this shit. I mean, I get this for exposition. They're going to tell you everything again to connect all the pieces in case you didn't get it. But it's us acting shocked like, what? She was living with the, we should have been like, oh, the Key Maiden you told me about was, like, the gasp should be us putting the pieces together, not acting like we're shocked and we know none of this. I mean, I don't know what she's gasping about, but it's usually the latter. You know, it's usually like, what? We had no clue. And it's like, wow, you're dumb because we literally gave you all the fucking pieces. Like, do you know the previous Key Maiden's name? Okay, so maybe we're connecting the dots.
Yes, I believe it was Chloe.
I see. Yang looked quite surprised as well. His golden eyes narrowed. Another question to you, sister. And this predecessor was under the Falzone's custody. In that case, why is this one living at the church?
Well...
Sophia looked quite uncomfortable. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath before answering. She didn't tell us that she knew that how Chloe died, but...
It is because the previous Key Maiden went mad living with the Falzone.
Well, okay, wow, what?
The previous Falzone's boss regretted having brought the Key Maiden to live in the manor. He asked that the church care for the new Key Maiden to avoid such a tragedy from happening again.
Went mad, I see. Yang tried to hold back his laughter. What irony. Your beliefs weren't enough to save the soul of a poor girl. Don't say that, Yang! Oh? I only speak the truth. Why was she gone mad? Like, I mean, I understand we went mad in, like, Nicola's bed ending where we were, like, locked up, but, like, they were there to be taken care of, so, like, what drove her insane? Like, was it the way Dante's father, like, handled? Like, no, you can't go out, and, like, treated her like a prisoner and she went crazy? Or, like, because you just think, oh, we'll just raise them like normal kids. You know?
Salvation from God comes to those who act on their faith. I believe that fits your way of life as well, which means God looks upon you too.
He stared blankly as if he lost interest. Now he looks a little shocked, like, she's on to me. He then finally gave a slight chuckle. Oh, what value is there in a God that only looks? If he watches people suffering and burdens them with more, he's no different from the devil. Sophia calmly smiled, listening to Yang's criticism.
You seem to be misunderstanding something. Faith does not yield a direct answer, nor does it demand reward. We simply believe and have faith in the results that come from God.
You speak as though there are no real answers in this world.
Yes. Space, what is your answer?
Yang said that God doesn't save people at all, but I believe that support comes from others on this earth, rather than God's salvation. I explained what I felt in my heart as someone who believed in God. Of course, I don't think asking for help is wrong, but you need to do something yourself to bring about results. Relying on someone else to do everything will stop you from living a human life. It's true that moving and standing on your own 2 feet can be painful, but our faith and believing in something greater can help support us through it all. So, support, not salvation, Yes, living together happily and supporting each other. If we all did that, people wouldn't need to be saved. So I feel like they're actually, okay, like, see, I, like, do not agree with religion, like, fucking all, but, like, at least the way they're kind of doing this and the way she's saying it, it's not like, God will see us through. It's like, we just have to have faith, but we also need to do shit for ourselves. It's not going to get handed to us. That's all religion ever was supposed to be. Like, hey, I'm really struggling and I don't know, like, you know what? There's other things out there, and if you do things and you have faith, and you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't meant to be like, this book is going to magically fix all my problems and I got to do everything. No. You're supposed to try to live your life as a better human being and like she said, support other people and help other people and that's how the world becomes a better place, not because, well, I'm just going to close my eyes really hard and wish and then some magic being in the sky will make it better. That's not how it's going to work. You know what I mean? I kind of like at least what they're doing. They're not like being crazy about it. They're like, hey, you know, if we all helped each other and like, okay, I mean, like, no, there's a lot of fucking awful in the world, so. But you need the decent people like this. Like, hey, if we help support each other and like, we go out and help people and we're decent human beings and the world will be a better place. Thank you. Yeah, that's all we need, right? Like, think about it, Yang. You help yourself. But, like, indirectly, you help the people who help you. Like, hey, Lon Fei, they kill for me. That's awesome, so I'm not going to kill them. Hey, that's, I guess, sorta? I mean, you're missing the point a lot. But, I mean, I guess, technically, in the loophole. like, we're not expecting miracles. Magic. Although, I am the key to the crypt of Jesus, so that's a little strange. But, okay, I mean... But if people knew Jesus was a human being, wouldn't that be better, though? I mean, he was a magical being. No, he was a human being who did amazing things. That's what you should be looking to. Not like this, again, a magical, mystical being that doesn't exist, because people are going to laugh at me if I'm like, unicorns! Like, oh, it's bullshit. But you believe in an imaginary dude in the sky. I'm just saying, it's just as fucking weird. But if you knew, like... Well, hey, here, this is proof. This person was a human doing extraordinary, wonderful, good things should be more powerful than an imaginary being that you're just equating good things to. You know what I mean? Like, hey, if that person can achieve all these great things, I can do it too. Yeah.
Well, I can't. I'm not a magical imaginary being, so I guess I'll just wait till an imaginary magical being saves me. Like, it's just stupid. It gets dumb, but what do I know? Anyway, I'd at least like the way they painted her, though. You know, like, hey, we should just all be good people. Yeah, good for you. Like, you're still like, and that's why she's not like, Buffy is evil. She's like, no, they're all good deep down inside. I mean, they do bad things, but like, yeah. Yeah, except for Yang. But, you know, we still love him anyway. Anyway. He looked at me in silence. He then looked away and without a single word began to leave the church. Really? What? Just the... Sister Sophia...
Yes, as you please.
I'm going to follow Yang and then... I bowed to her and chased after Yang. Yang, are you leaving already? It seems really light out here for being night. He stopped and turned around. His emotionless eyes stared at me. Yang? I wasn't even sure he was looking at me. After a moment of silence, he spoke. I've lived in a world where neither salvation nor support exists. I lived on my own strength. So, you've lived alone, then? But I'm sure someone precious to you will appear to help support you, Yang. That would have been me! Yang! It's okay, sweetie. We're all here to support you in the man harem. Just stop fighting. No fighting in the man harem. I mean, we love you. The man harem has become a support group for fucking Yang, is all I'm saying at this point. I hope that happens soon. Yang snickered at my words, then spoke to me in an ironic tone. Yang is all of us, like when you're in a bitter mood. Everyone's like, someone will love you someday, and you're like, whatever, I don't fucking need people to die alone in the corner. Like, anything when people are like, whatever, saying nice things, you're like, whatever. It's not like I care. You care deep down inside. That's Yang. He's looking at us with that face that says he doesn't give a shit, but he gives a shit. He so much gives a shit. Well, they'd better hurry. I doubt I'll live much longer. Aw. Stop it, will you? He's probably gonna end up dead now. You still have so much ahead. We're about the same age, you know? He's like, hey! How old do you think I am? Huh? I hesitantly replied to his sudden inquiry. About 22 or 23? So, I'm guessing we're about 20 then. Okay. 29. Wow! Didn't know that. Did not know that. Well, okay. He's probably would have been like, I'm 52. What? You look so... Yeah, never mind. This was about as shocking a revelation as what we discussed earlier. I thought he was a lot younger. I mean, his skin is so smooth and silky. I'm sorry. It's so funny because I know we're all thinking the same thing. You're like, the game is literally like, so you know that saying, Asian don't raisin? Right here. There you go. It's like making fun of that. It's like, I mean, if that's the saying, we're going to make it true. They should have freaking told us he's like 39 and we would have been like, huh? So funny. But even at 29, like, wow, his skin is so smooth and silky. Like, what? I also feel slightly insulted that the game's like, well, as soon as you hit like mid to late 20s, you're dead. You usually still look young at 29. When people are like, how old do I look? I don't know, like 50, and they're like 29, you're like, oh my God, you're 6 years older than I thought? Like, it's not... It's like, I'm not sure if the game is making fun of that freaking saying, or the game is literally like, man, when you're 29, you're gonna look like an old hag. Trust me, you're probably not, okay? Some people have bad genetics and you look old when you're young, and that's unfortunate. And some people have really great genetics, where you're like 60, and they're like, really? You don't look a day over 40? Oh God, I wish that were me. But, you know, I'm just saying, it's so funny. Game is mean to old people. All these games are mean to old people like me, anyway. Sorry. It's just so
funny because she's literally saying it without actually saying the phrase, you know? Like, I heard that people in Asia often look much younger, but I didn't expect it from him. Oh, then how old are those twins?
Who knows? I assume around 15.
I thought they were a lot younger, too.
I mean, they act it, is what it is.
Yang, how come you didn't tell us you were going?
You're so mean. You were gonna leave us behind, weren't you?
Noticing Yang, Faye and Lon ran toward him from the garden. Orlok was right behind them and stopped next to me. Unbelievable. They went everywhere and tried to touch everything, too. I did my best to stop them. It was hard. Thank you, Orlok. I really mean it. I appreciated all Orlok had done, which was clear by the exhaustion on his face. I can only imagine how tough it must have been. I looked at Yang, who looked quite bothered by the twins running in circles around him. He's like, it's because they act like they're 12. What a nuisance. Shut up already. I should just leave you two here.
Hey, that's mean. You're the one who found us, Yang.
No, you two followed me.
I guess you could say that.
Before Yang turned to leave, he looked at me and began to speak. They're basically his children. Like, Yang, are you sure they're not your kids? I mean, you'd have been like 15 when they were born. Yang, you whore.
Spacey.
What is it?
I don't believe in a god, but what you said was quite interesting.
Maybe it was just my imagination, but the smile he had on his face was much calmer and softer than his usual smile. See? We're like, Yang's not such a bad guy. He's not being trash in this. And then he's gonna die and we're gonna feel bad. Maybe it was just me. Yang and the noisy twins left the church. Wow. Okay.
Anyone around? I looked around the empty church. Silhouette appeared from around the corner.
Yes? Marco.
Hey, Sophia, do you have a minute?
Why, yes. Outside, then, perhaps.
This is not Sophia's voice. What is happening? I don't know. I can't do Marco and Sophia at the same time.
Chatting inside the church is frowned upon, but Sophia's as careful as ever, making sure no one's around to hear us. And again, if I tell her not to worry, she'll give me a hard time for not being prudent. I haven't been to the Felzone Manor for years. Not since Silvio died. Seems like only yesterday he just called me on a whim to come over.
Well, he did call you there as a friend, rather than as an officer.
I'm not doing her voice right. I don't know why I can't do Sophia after doing Marco. I also can't do Marco's voice right now. Like, okay, we shouldn't, whatever.
Signor Falzone, no. Silvio was a very fine leader. But I'm sure he showed a different side of himself when he was with you.
All I know is that Dante's more serious for his age, even when compared to Silvio.
Well, I can vouch that Silvio wasn't so calm back when he was younger.
Right. I mean, he used to get into fights and did all sorts of stupid stuff. It was such a pain covering for him. Heck, I think he was doing it on purpose to make me work.
But Silvio changed so suddenly. It was after he became a boss, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he changed even more when he got married and had Dante. I smiled, reminiscing about the past. When Dante was born, Silvio was insufferable. He kept calling me each time Dante cried or laughed or when he first walked. He cried! Babies do that, goddammit!
He was very attached, for sure.
And yet he'd never show that to his kid. He really was a pain. Sorry about that, Sophia. I kept you out in the cold too long.
Not at all. I have to thank you for helping me revisit fond memories, Marco.
Well, call me if you got something. Ciao, Sophia.
Yes. Buonasera, Marco.
I quickly headed back to the station.
Excuse me, senor.
Huh? I stopped and turned toward an unfamiliar voice.
Henry, what are you doing? Okay, here's the thing. We're at time, so we're not going to have time to do these. So, well, okay. Yang and the Noisy Twins left the church. That's where we're going to end it. Because we still have several of these, and there might only be a few minutes, but then we're already over time. I didn't expect this to happen. I was like, okay, when the scene's over, we'll stop. But, so when we come back in the next part, I'm pretty sure I can save here. We'll do Proximate Disappear, and then we'll kind of continue on from there. So hopefully I remember that. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.